Hello friends, and welcome to another video. This week I'm going to be trying out period leggings. That's right, you guys, it is that time of the month once more. Now, when I first heard of these period leggings, I was intrigued. So I thought, as an avid leggings wearer and a period haver, that I gotta try these things. So I got myself a couple pairs. Basically, they are a legging with, I believe, like a pad replacement built in. They are made by this company called Panty Prop, which on their website seems to have a few different offerings. Okay, so here's one right here. I ordered 2 pairs of leggings just because, as I remembered with the period panties, there is a decent amount of laundering happening. It looks pretty much like a legging. It's got nice soft material, and then on the inside, it looks like this. I'm very interested in the design of this. There's a mesh sort of layering, and then right here, there's got some fleece in there. It is not incredibly thick. It's actually not very bulky at all, but the seams are from the outside are like pretty noticeable. Well, we'll see what it looks like when it's on, huh? So before I try these on, I just want to thank Clue for sponsoring this video. Clue is an app that tracks your period. We've got some period leggings here. I'm on my period. It's all coming together. So the app is called Clue, like the board game. But there's no mystery. It is just always Miss Scarlet in my pants with the inconvenient timing. Clue is a free app. It's available on iOS and Android. Basically, what Clue does is it tracks your cycle, your period, PMS, and ovulation. Here is my calendar. It's also rated the #1 app for tracking your cycle by doctors and medical researchers. Clue also sends you push notifications when you're about to start your period. I've been using Clue for the last couple of months. The more you use Clue, the better it gets at predicting your cycle. So for me, I usually focus on like the blood aspect, but you can also add pain, emotions, sleep, sexatoms, and there's actually a new feature that lets you share your cycle with other people. Currently, only Tyler gets it.
Yes, I do.
But he loves it.
Yes, I do.
So once again, thank you to Clue for your support. I'm gonna try these pants on now. Okay, so I've got a little card that they gave me. They said, recommended for use. What? Oh! Additional protection should be worn with this product when you are experiencing heavy leakage. It's weird because on their website they say that it's a leak-proof legging and you can wear it alone depending on your flow. But on this card it says recommended for use with pads, tampons, and menstrual cups, and that it's intended to help secure and conceal a pad. I'm a little confused. Currently, I am on my first day of my period. I was gonna have my first day be day 2, which is tomorrow during the day, which is probably like my heaviest day. So I will get a pad to use with my period legging tomorrow. Later in the week though, I will go commando. Am I doing this right?
What do you mean?
Was I supposed to be doing something else?
Is there something wrong? What's there to do right or wrong? Oh!
I guess I was just assuming that I could wear these like I wear leggings, like I just wear leggings like around. But I think maybe that these are not that kind of legging.
Maybe they're banking on the fact that people like don't just like look at other, people's crotches. So then I don't actually notice that you have what seems to be a sack of potatoes down there.
I'm a little surprised that it's so noticeable from the outside. On the website, they have like a lot of different like active kind of like examples. So it's kind of like for dancing, for yoga. They feel like good leggings in terms of like working out, like the material feels nice, but the protrusion of the pad part, it's not ideal. I think we might have to work around it. Okay, so it is day 2 in the morning. I've got a pad, I've got my period leggings. Basically, you're just supposed to take your pad, one-handed pad action. When I saw that they actually intended that you wear it with a pad on heavier days, I was a little disappointed, but I thought it was only fair to follow their directions. So I'm basically just gonna put this right on the gusset. It's a great name. I don't really know what gusset means, but I'm here for it. Smooth it down on the top, smooth it down on the bottom, and then turn them right side out, and then wear them. So I put my leggings with my pad on. Can you tell? I kind of, tried to arrange the flannel arms so that they just drop right in front of the crotch.
That is a convenient sleeve right there.
Okay, so we're at the mall. We're gonna get some coffee, a little dinner. As I'm walking, it does feel a little bit bulky. It doesn't feel not secure, like it doesn't feel like it's gonna start shifting around, but it's definitely a bulk I can feel. So I didn't have any issues in terms of leaking. I thought that the flannel arms would like move when I walked. I don't know if it was a particularly still day, like there wasn't a lot of wind happening, but it actually covered it up pretty well. The only time you can see it is if I go like this. kind of swing around. I'm doing this and it's actually making my leggings ride down a bit, so the pad's going with them. So maybe don't do that.
No.
I just have to think of other things to wrap around my waist this week, or other like longer tops or like maybe dresses to wear over it. So just, you know, thinking on what I can put around my waist. Day 3, I wanted to give it a workout spin. Okay, so I'm gonna head down to the gym right now. I have put a pad in my leggings, so I am going to see how these fare like on the treadmill, sweating, general motion. I don't know. It feels like a little bulky and a little slippery, so probably not ideal for like running when you're, or at least my thighs like rubbed together, but you know, we'll see.
Oh, the pouch is in like full view.
Yeah, the pouch. This does offer you the no underwear, but have a secure pad option. It does feel pretty moisture wicking though. Like, they're nice leggings in terms of the crotch area. It's okay, but I don't feel it as much as I did when I first started. I'm not really used to running while wearing a pad, so to me, it kind of felt a little sweaty and like a little bit wrinkly, but there were no leaking issues. Probably because the pad is absorbing the sweat too. Kind of just melding all together. Running alone on a treadmill actually doesn't draw a lot of attention to the weirdness of the gusset diaper.
Well, I gotta be honest, like if you're running, you can't see the little pouch.
Yeah. It was more the trip back and forth from the gym where I was like, so I've worn both of my period leggings. I have 2 pairs at this point, so I'm gonna put them in the wash. It says you can just machine wash them, so I'm machine washing them, and as long as you don't dry them on high heat, you should be fine. That's, you know, lower maintenance than my usual workout leggings, to be honest. All right, they are done. I'm nervous to put them in the dryer just because I never put like athletic leggings in dryers. So I'm gonna air dry these right here, and then in the morning, hopefully they should be ready to go. The gusset is like quite fleecy and thick, so I hope, maybe I'll try and fold it over by the gusset. Let the gusset get more air. That word, I've never used that word before, but it feels so appropriate.
You said it a lot this week.
Next morning, the gussets are looking good. So it is day 4 of my period, day 3 of wearing these leggings. I also wore a pad on day 4 just because it's kind of like a medium flow day for me. I have Candace here right now. We're about to go film another like Instagram makeup trend type video. So I am wearing a little like dress tunic type thing to conceal the crotch. Candace had no idea what was going on under there. I'm gonna show you my crotch. Are you okay with that? Not like bare.
Oh, yeah. I was actually thinking they were like really cute leggings, and I was gonna ask you where you got them.
They're kind of like panty liner built-in leggings, but there's one catch.
That is camel toe city right now.
I think like me, she was just expecting them to look like normal leggings.
I was not expecting that. They're cute like after. That's like almost like moose knuckle territory.
That said, the tunic did cover up the crotch very well. You know, it kind of hit at the mid-thigh. So for the first 3 days I wore the period leggings, I followed their instructions and put a pad in it. And that resulted in me not really having a lot of like leakages or issues with the absorbency, but I still had 3 days of period left. And the last 3 days of my period are pretty like medium to light days. So I went commando, just me and the gusset. All right, so it is day 5 and I'm finally ready to put on my period leggings without anything underneath them. I really wanted to test a different type of workout, so I went to yoga class on day 5. Okay, so I'm about to walk into yoga class and I am feeling pretty comfortable dry, like the gusset feels pretty nice, feels kind of pillowy. I'm just worried about, as I said before, how it looks. I was a little bit self-conscious, I'm not gonna lie, but I think something about yoga class actually unfurled the gusset. I think when standing and walking, the gusset looks bulkier than when you're kind of like stretched out in Warrior 2. I will say that I don't think anyone was looking. I think if anyone saw, they might have just glanced away, like, I'm not sure what that is, but I didn't notice anyone being like, okay, so I'm walking out of yoga. Overall, nothing bad happened. Like there were no leaks, no like stray, like strong smells or anything. I would say over the course of the week, the smell was pretty much on par with wearing a pad. I felt pretty dry throughout. The whole thing definitely feels less bulky without a pad underneath. I would say once again though that like walking back and forth from the yoga studio, that's the most awkward part, in my opinion.
Anyway, I'm gonna head home now and probably, from the amount of sweating I did today, just throw these guys straight back in the wash.
So day 6 during the day, I was editing all day and finishing a video, but during the evening, I put my period leggings on and we went to Disneyland for a few hours. I decided to wear this like long like dress with like cutouts on the side type thing. I don't usually wear this thing, but in a situation where I'm wearing leggings, but I also need to cover like my crotch, this like sort of loincloth almost fit is perfect. I think that in Disneyland, I noticed a couple more drops than I had the day before. Just kind of like the last dregs really just making themselves known. I was feeling pretty high and dry just because it's like, you know, the last few days until about 2 minutes ago when we were walking and I felt like a nice healthy drop. So, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's leaking, it feels absorbed, but I definitely like felt it and then it's there and it's still kind of there. So I was a little nervous, but I don't think there was any leaking issues, at least I didn't notice any. But Disneyland does involve a lot of walking, more than with any other type of activity. Just walking around for a while, the leggings did ride down a little bit.
And something that you probably want with a pad type period product is that it's flush against your body.
Yes.
By the end of the night, I noticed this stitching on the side
is actually slightly chafing a little bit, but we have been walking a lot and I'm not like in any pain. I'm just noticing it a little bit. But overall, it's handling the trip to Disneyland pretty well. As long as I have the aesthetics of it disguised, I'm fine with it.
The last day of my period arrived. Day 7 was just like a busy work day, hanging around on the computer, sending emails, eating gelato.
I think it's actually easier to disguise the crotch region than I thought it might be. This flannel is just like Tyler's flannel that I'm wearing today, and it's long enough. Interestingly enough, this week has been less of like a does this period product work week, and more like a can I style around this period product week, just because to me that's the biggest hurdle.
I really love wearing leggings, especially when I'm just kind of sitting around on the computer, and these leggings were pretty good to sit around in. I just feel kind of warm, like it's just like an extra layer of fuzziness. It's not anything to really write home about. All in all, I have mixed feelings about these leggings. On the positive side, I do think the gusset provides a good place for a pad to stick if you're someone who likes to wear pads on your period and doesn't want to wear underwear under leggings. I also think that the leggings themselves are decently comfortable, and I think it works pretty well when you're exercising, but only really when you're in the act of exercising. Which brings me to my main complaint, the aesthetics. After I had first tried these on, I went back to the website to see if I had just missed the gusset or just to see if I got like a defective pair. But looking at the website, the first 2 pictures, you can't see any sign of a gusset. It's the 3rd picture that you have to click through where you can kind of see the gusset. So I guess I just didn't get that far. It's not that I expect there to be no bulk in a period legging, but just there's literally a square that wrinkles up and it's just like, wrinkly crotch, take a look. My other gripe with it is that it just didn't commit. I think that if I'm gonna be wearing a period legging that has quite a bulky pad or gusset in the middle, I would expect that this wouldn't need additional reinforcements. I would love to have a pair of period leggings that I could just throw on and not have to wear anything with. And it feels like that's what this company was trying to make, but they just weren't ready to commit to it. That said, if you are someone who exclusively wears long tunics and also really likes to wear pads, maybe this could work for you. But if you are someone who wears a lot of crop tops, I would say probably not. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked that video, make sure to smash that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to smash that subscribe button. And if you've already smashed that subscribe button, make sure to smash that little bell icon in the middle to turn on post notifications so you get a notification every time that I post. Here are my social media handles, and make sure to check out my next tweet. I do a lot of daily vlogging and Q&As on there. A big shout out to Helen for watching. Thanks for watching, Helen, and I will see you guys next time.